Hello, and we are back for another episode of Deep Dive. I hope that you are ready to talk all things NWA women's roster as they have had a red hot summer. I hope you're ready because I certainly am. Stay tuned.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to a new episode of Deep Dive. I have had a crazy summer with so many things that I had to kind of go back and look into over the summer because there was a lot of great wrestling. And as we're kind of getting into that fall season soon, I kind of wanted to wrap up the summer and touch on a promotion in a women's division that I have been absolute crazy about, which is the NWA women's division. And as I decided to go back and really look at all of the things that made up the division for this summer, it did not disappoint me. It was jam-packed, and there was so much attention surrounded by all of these awesome titles that the women have on this roster. And I have said for a long time, probably over like the past year or so, that I love that, or two, maybe about a year or two, how we have had not one, not two, but three titles that the women really could fight for in NWA, and it just makes it so much more exciting. It allows more women to really go on the title hunt and to really have some unique pairings with that. And this new season of NWA that we saw over the summer has just been white hot, with the Crockett Cup being in full swing at that time. We also saw a lot of exclusive contract signings being announced on social media throughout June to really let us know moving forward who is really going to have that NWA stamp on them moving forward. And I think with that, as well as a lot of new indie wrestling promotions forming with the newly resurrected National Wrestling Alliance around the country, we see as fans that, to me, there's a little bit more of a fire under the women over the summer to really show why they are a part of NWA Power and how they feel that they can rightfully compete with anyone that probably is part of these NWA affiliated promotions and still stand toe to toe with them, as we're starting to see the resurrection of territories, which makes it so much more interesting moving forward as we're going into the fall. And we really started to see again this excitement and this competition surrounding these very coveted titles in NWA for the women. So without further ado, let's just get into a lot of this action that we had in NWA over the past 2 months, because I wanted to make sure that I was fully focusing on those matches that kind of followed the grandness of the Crockett Cup and kind of got into that July, August, early September action that was happening in NWA. So we're going to start off with this, I think, a great match to really bring in that energy that we saw in the summer with obviously the King Bees, who have been holding the tag team titles down. And I think that they were a rightful pick after such a great run from Pretty Empowered. So we have in this match, which happened on the July 16th episode of NWA Power, King Bees versus Rekka Tahaka and Tiffany Neves. So we see in this match early on that Tiffany is always ready for the drama. She comes into the match holding one of the tag team titles in her hands as she's waving around, pretending that she already won the match. I mean, how disrespectful to the King Bees. So we see that Dana and Danny and Charity, they're not going to let that sway them from understanding why they're coming into this match. They are completely mature about it, and they have a level head. We see starting off this match that Danny B and Reka Tahaka are starting off this match, and we kind of see some reluctant uh, uh, kind of personality from Danny coming into this match, as she's seeing Reka kind of gear up for it in this very aggressive way in the corner, and she's kind of second guessing how this match is going to go. But she continues to go on, and we see that Charity is in no way intimidated by Reka, and she tags herself in, and we see these two very powerful, statuesque women come into the ring and stand toe to toe, and no one at all, any party, being intimidated. And it was just a cool moment where they let you observe the fact that they were going to collide in this match. So I really enjoyed them really building that. And we see Charity and Reka really go blow for blow before Charity makes that tag. And Reka plays nice, and she tags her partner in, trying to make it fair and showing that she is a team player, as Tiffany and Reka were put together. And I think that both Tiffany and Reka were smart to make those quick tags early on to really weaken Danny as she was in their corner. And they immediately go for Danny's legs when Tiffany drives her knee into the ring post. You can see Reka and Tiffany working on that knee for a good while, really just making sure that Danny does not have a way to escape. And even though Danny is working hard, you see her clamoring to get to her side of the ring. Just really great teamwork. Surprisingly enough, with both Reka and Tiffany, as you can kind of see with everything that they've done so far, this thing that's overshadowing or foreshadowing that they both really want to have their own solo ambitions. But I think that they did a good job of putting that to the side for this match. And we see that Tiffany just whips Danny around the ring by her hair, totally taking advantage of the Hurt Champ. And Danny gets her second win with the cheering of the crowd and the encouragement, and she finally makes her way to her opponent, Charity. And we see Charity comes in, and she gets the Samoan drop in on Tiffany to try to get the pin, but Reka comes into the ring right on time to save her partner. We see that great teamwork come together for the King Bees to take out Reka, and then Danny gets the King's Kiss for the win for her team, and most importantly, for her team to keep those coveted tag team titles. This was a great match for me, as I was going back to look at a lot of the action from NWA over the summer, to really feel like nothing had died down because we were in the summer months, and that the tag team action for the women was just as strong, just as heated, and just as intense. I don't know how Reka and Tiffany came together, but I will say I'm happy that they did, because they actually make a really strong team. I like the teamwork that I was seeing between them. Just like I said, putting aside for the moment any solo ambitions that they have, and they really did have a bull's eye on wanting to really make some competition for King Bees. I love the strong competition that I'm going to get into more to talk about with King Bees. They really have had some strong competition to really make them look like such a dominant tag team that we know that they are. But as we always know, even if you're a strong team, the best way to really help to amplify that is having some strong competition. And I feel like they started off this summer right with going against Reka Tahaka and Tiffany Neves. So great match. If you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest that you check it out. So we're going to move on to another match that happened during the summer. We have Ella Envy versus Misa Kate. Now, over the past few, maybe like 2 to 3 months leading into the summer, we kind of saw like something kind of switch with Misa Kate, and maybe all of her, her faculties aren't there, but she certainly still has that ambition to be one of the stronger brawling women on the roster. And with Ella coming into this match, she was ready to rock and roll as she is with her new manager, Miss Star. And she's really on her journey to have a successful solo career. And you can see that energy radiating off of her. We have Misa show that she is still a bit cuckoo. That didn't leave over the past few months. She even tried during the match to stick her gum that she was chewing into Ella's mouth when she had her in a hold. But somehow she was still able to be a very sound wrestler early into this match. It was insane. So Ella, of course, is pissed, to say the least, about the whole gum chewing thing. So she just starts to unleash on Ella, completely wailing on her. And then you would think that maybe that would have tamed down Misa Kate. No, Misa starts hitting her own head on the turnbuckle, which completely freaks out Ella and kind of makes her think, why am I in this match? Am I actually competing with someone, or are they just trying to hurt themselves? So it's just an all-around crazy fest, with Misa actually keeping up most of the offense during this match. So we see at that point that Miss Star interferes, to try to help out her client. And this allows Ella Envy to get the win and to start racking up, some successes, some solo successes for herself. And I just love the chemistry that Ella and Miss Star has at this time. With Miss Star still working out that neck injury, she has certainly found a nice cushy spot being Ella's manager. And I like that Miss Star does not take away from all of that personality that Ella has. She does not take away from that. She just simply adds and really frames Ella, and they really do work well off of each other. I love this personality that they're adding to Misa Kate's overall presence in NWA, because it's still not taking away from that just lethal, brawling, strong, rough, tough personality that she has in the ring, or style that she has in the ring. I like how they're blending the two, but they're not taking away from the integrity of the type of matches that Misa Kate can have. This match, honestly, was just a fun match to watch, but at the same time, you saw that athleticism that Misa and Ella were bringing to the table. So I'm really interested to see how far they're going to go with Misa with this new that she has, while still maintaining that tough style. And I love seeing this new solo career that Ella is having and really finding herself now outside of Pretty Empowered. So it was a really good match. Not a long match, but still got the job done. So we move on to another match over the summer. We have Kenzie Page versus Misa Kate. So we just came from seeing how incredibly insane Misa Kate was acting in this match. Mean Misa Kate, and she goes into challenging not just some woman on the roster, but the woman at the head of the roster, Kenzie Page. We see early in this match that Misa is definitely holding her own against Kenzie Page and not letting the champ really get her footing early on. The fans, of course, are loudly booing the champ, as she's used to at this point, and it doesn't really faze her. We see Misa have Kenzie on the ropes, and instead of punching her in the face, Misa licks her face. Questionable, yes, but it does get the job done to effectively freak out the champ, who rushes out of the ring and tells the ref that this is not a sanitary work environment, as she wipes off her face. So Kenzie takes a second to, try to process whatever that was that happened from Kate. And then she gets back into the ring as Misa is following her and elbows her in the back to regain control. Kenzie starts throwing blows and keeping up with the tough, brawling Kate. Kenzie gets a crossface in, but a resourceful and crazy Misa Kate bites on Kenzie's hand to turn the tide and to get a fish hook in. I don't know how the ref didn't see the foot hook end, but okay, we'll just pretend that that didn't happen. Finally, at some point, the ref actually intervenes when she sees that Misa just going too far with certain moves that are clearly illegal. Kenzie tries to get some slaps to the face end, but Misa is not phased, just like we saw with that match with Ella Envy. Anytime any woman that she's competing against kind of gets an offense in, she just doesn't sell it, and she brings more of that crazy out and she just starts wailing on Kenzie. Kenzie tries to go to the cutter, but Misa catches her and delivers a vicious DDT. I have to say, I loved over the summer in NWA when I have seen the DDT actually being used as a deadly move again. It's something that either really debilitates or ends the match. I've always loved that finisher, and for a long time, people have just used it, and then the person just gets right back up after. I like that the DDT has been getting that respect that it deserves as a real lethal finisher. So that has been really cool to see. We see that Misa, after delivering that DDT, could have gotten the win, but she gets distracted as she tries to tag in her imaginary tag partner that was somewhere on the ropes. And that's when the very clever champ moves in to get the cutter and puts Misa out and gets that pin and retains her title. Even though there were many comedic moments in this match, you really start to see, though, that Misa is really close possibly to getting some gold because of these outstanding matches that she's been having, even when she has not been able to win because of possibly getting distracted or something like that. But as far as the in-ring ability, you've seen that she's standing toe to toe with the champ, and she came so close in this match. So I thought that that was really interesting. So this was actually one of my favorite matches from this season of NWA so far, because it really showed how we can't just go by the crazy personality that Misa is showing. She really is still someone that the champs, whether it be Kenzie Page, Max the Impaler, or well, obviously the tag team champs don't apply to this, but those two champs really have to look out for Misa Cape, because she might have her moments, which is acting a little bit psychotic, but she is holding her own in the ring. So that was a really good match. I just want to make sure to take a moment to say hello to Bobby Petito. How are you doing today? Let me go over some of the comments that we've been seeing so far. Tiffany Neves and Reka Tahaka and Ella Envy are growing on me on NWA. I couldn't agree more. I like the longevity that you see with the character building in NWA. I personally think that the women's roster is the strongest and the most appealing in NWA at this current chapter of NWA Power. So I do agree with you, as you keep seeing these new women come in, or even when they're having evolutions in their characters, if they've been there for about a year or two, it really is working. And just like I was saying in the match prior, I feel like these tag teams that they're putting together, if they already weren't tag teams before, they're certainly bringing women together that have great chemistry. And I have personally been a fan of Ella Envy maybe for about 2 years now. I just think that that personality, that confidence, that really good timing on the mic that Ella has is just dynamite. And I truly think they just have such a solid division, and I love seeing other people that actually are enjoying what's coming out of NWA. So yes, let's move to the next match. We have for the NWA World Television Championship match, Max the Impaler versus Ella Envy. This match I was really looking forward to, because leading into the summer and for a little bit of, I believe, May and June, we saw Max the Impaler become the unified world television champ. So she does, in fact, have the men's and the women's world television championship. And initially I did love or I liked the idea of Max the Impaler having this feud with Mims, but then I didn't like that because of Max holding both titles, you're not getting a lot of attention sometimes to one of the television titles, and it's kind of like just there. But I did like this match very much because it brought back the women's television title back into play and us seeing it actually being defended. And we see that Ella Envy goes into this match talking big trash with her manager, Miss Star, backstage before she even stepped foot in the ring with Max the Impaler. So if you don't know, over the past few months, there has been a challenge that Max the Impaler had. Well, all you have to do is last 6 minutes in the match with Max to get the win. Now, of course, this sounds very easy if you were not in the match with Max the Impaler. And of course, maybe it sounded really easy to Ella when she was given this match. So I guess that's why she had that confidence. But we see right when the bell rings, Ella asks for a timeout and she goes to talk to her manager, Miss Star. The former 3-time tag team champion continues to stay out of the ring to the frustration of her opponent. So I guess Ella needed some time to meditate, as she was doing, seemed like, and think about her life choices before getting back into the ring with Max. It was absolutely hilarious to see Ella just losing all her bearings, thinking about actually having to face off against Max. So Ella starts screaming at the top of her lungs the moment she's brought into the ring forcibly and caught in between the ropes by Max, holding the side of her face. With over 3 minutes left over on the clock, Ella is really doing a good job of running the clock, because at first I was judging it, but I'm like, you know what? Actually, that's the best strategy to have. When you know only thing you have to do is last out for that time, why not run that clock? So I actually thought that I was seeing, strategy building. So Ella finally gets in the ring with the help of Max the Impaler's manager, James Mitchell, and Max is just playing with Ella, pulling her hair out and kind of eating it, and then delivering a vicious crossface that has Envy clinging to the ropes, desperately trying to find a way out. Envy reaches for Miss Star, but there is no help for Envy. And Max delivers 3 lariats to Envy and could have gotten the win if not for that clock running out. So even though Max was able to keep the title, she was a bit pissed, that they couldn't get the win. So Max gets Ella up for a pile driver, but out of all people, James Mitchell stops her from doing this, actually keeping the integrity of the match to take home the win and just go. You see, that was something that was very surprising to me. So maybe we might start seeing a bit more respectability from James Mitchell. I can't really guarantee that, but we might. I loved seeing Ella Envy in the Pretty Empowered tag team, but I can truly say that I kind of like the solo endeavors that Ella's having in NWA right now. And it has been quite impressive to see more of her personality come out, kind of seeing her shine. Once again, having really good comedic timing and being absolutely fabulous on the mic. She's just a solid, super entertaining character, as well as a great wrestler. And sometimes some people don't have both, but Ella definitely does. And I don't know what woman will be able to take out Max to capture that title, but it truly would be a miracle when it happens because of how hard that is going to be. Definitely one, this match was certainly one that was on top of the list for me. I just think that they're really doing something in NWA great with Ella, really just letting her go on her own and really explore it. I like that they're actually bringing effective, entertaining managers into play. And we got to see that with both James and Miss Star involved in this match. I love the 6-minute challenge that you have surrounding the NWA World's Television Championship. I think it's a very interesting stipulation. It also continues to show how immensely powerful and very scary Max Taylor is. So this was definitely one match that I was absolutely excited to see. Let's move on to the next match. And I have to agree with you, Bobby. NWA Women's Wrestling Division is great. And don't worry, some other women that you're bringing up are certainly on the list for some great matches that they had over the summer. So let's move into the next one. We had this mixed tag team match with Looks to Kill, which is from Natalia Markova and Brian Idol, and Taylor Rising, who is one of my favorites that's really starting to come in and get some attention on the roster, and AJ Kazana. We're starting to see with this match that NWA is starting to bring in some people from a more modern NWA territory, a newly formed one called JCP. Recently, JCP and NWA have been having some live streams of their events, and there has been some really great lineups, and these live streams have been available for free on YouTube. So if you get a chance, you kind of want to see this new territory from NWA coming out, I really would recommend it. So this particular territory is located in Tennessee, and you're seeing these wrestlers really start to, especially like on the men's roster, start to come in and challenge a lot of the champions on the roster. So the men start off this mixed tag match, and the bigger AJ Kazana gets the upper hand early on. Natalia makes the tag, and AJ wants no part of it, and he tags in his partner, Taylor Rising. Now, Natalia and Taylor are not strangers to one another. They once tagged for a bit, about like over a year ago, and you can really see that chemistry that they have in the ring in this matchup. Both of them knowing how to counter each other's holds was really entertaining to see, to the point where they kind of had to laugh it off with how much they knew each other. And I am hoping that over the next few months, we can see these women come together again, because they just really have it when they get in the ring, whether they're tagging or whether they're going against each other. We see AJ is just laying into Brian, and Markova knows that she has to make that tag. As AJ makes the tag, Markova breaks the count and stands up to the rough and scary AJ. Markova and Taylor are brought back in. We see a chop fest commence between both women. AJ drags Natalia by the hair to stop the pin that she tries to get, and Markova kicks him in the face in defense. While Markova is distracted, Taylor kicks Natalia in the jaw and a pump kick in. Both AJ and Brian land on the outside of the ring after having an intense slugfest in the ring. This match was very much a brawling type of match, and it was really cool for both the women and the men to really get that intense in this match. So after both men are outside of the ring, this gives Natalia a chance to get the beautiful disaster finisher in and a DDT to get the win for her team. I don't know how far they're going to have Looks to Kill really go, but they were a very successful tag team. I don't know if there might be possibly opportunity for mixed tag teams to possibly hold some titles, like maybe if they create that, because we have seen over the past few years that these mixed title matches, when done right, really has a following with a lot of fans. So I'm kind of interested if maybe seeing matches like this might be an opening for NWA to kind of have like a mixed tag, probably not like the division, but like a few that they can pluck from and kind of put into matches, because this really was a very entertaining intense fight between these two teams. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Let's go to the next match. We have, once again, King Bees defending those very coveted tag team titles as they go against Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra. So this was a match where it was very hard for me to root for either team because I love them both so much, but it was still very entertaining to say the least. We have this match start off with Ruthie J and Danny B with some really effective arm holds to kind of show off that flexibility and intricate technical based wrestling that both women do possess, and to really kind of get the crowd revved up in this very intense match that we see, but very fast-paced match. We see Charity King and La Rosa Negra gets tagged in, and Charity King brings that power lifting presence into this match, completely dismantling La Rosa. And a chant actually starts for La Rosa as the fans are completely behind her in the match, and that helps to really pump up La Rosa. And we see that Danny is brought back into the match, and this really amps up La Rosa with the chance to get her second win and try to bring this match back to her team. We see a back elbow off the middle rope onto Danny B, allows La Rosa to bring her to the side of her ring, and we see Ruthie and La Rosa get that advantage. Ruthie J gets the tag in, but Danny is smart to quickly get to tag her partner and kind of give herself a chance to get her second win and kind of get energized for her turn when it comes. Charity King gets in and she delivers a deadly Samoan drop on La Rosa Negra and takes the wind out of both of them. Ruthie J comes in and is explosive at this point in the match. La Rosa gets a frog splash, on which actually La Rosa Negra is, to me, on the list of the people that have some of the most impressive frog splashes. So I always like seeing her get that in. And when she gets that frog splash in, you can see that if she had the chance to pin Charity, maybe Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra would have gotten that win. But Danny is the legal woman in this match, so Charity is smart to move herself out of the ring immediately once she feels the brunt of that frog splash. And this gives Danny B a chance to get a DDT on Ruthie to win the match. And they keep those titles another day. So I really loved this high-flying, fast-paced, quick witted match that these women put together. They are just electric together. And when I saw that Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra would team together, I was hoping to see this match rather soon. So it was awesome to see this match. Once again, I feel like NWA is just on the money when making sure that the King Bees are having some great competition to really solidify how strong their tag title run is going to be. This first tag title run that they're having, but at the same time, making sure that they're really pushing for great female tag team action in the company by raising up some others that can have really great runs in the company as tag teams. And Ruthie J and La Rosa Negra, you can see the chemistry that they have. Definitely has to come from outside the ring because it truly does become very visible when you see them in the ring. So from Bobby said, I like women's tag team of the King Bees, Charity King and Danny B, and La Rosa Negra and Ruthie J. I think that honestly, we're really going to start seeing that. And I think that this is the case now, that the tag team division for the women are going to have just as much hype when these matches are announced. sometimes like days prior to it, to help to really continue to bring in viewership to CW, the CW app, and to NWA Power because of the women that are a part of these matches, and many times how you're actually seeing these storylines build up. There is a lot of amazing competition for those tag titles, and it just keeps heating up. So I'm hoping that for Ruthie J. La Rosa Negra, that maybe we can have like a storyline build up with them and just have like a nice feud kind of build up that that really has different chapters to it. But we'll have to see what happens with that. Let's go to the next match. We have more tag team action. So like I said, a lot of people are coming for those titles. And we started to see kind of like at the end of July, going into August, that Kenzie and Kylie Page were making very clear that they were a team and that they're kind of going to keep, they're not calling themselves this, but it's kind of keeping that pretty empowered brand alive with how they're kind of coming for those titles and making it clear that on so many levels, both Kylie and Kenzie are doing a lot of amazing things at such a young age. It was announced not too long ago that Kylie and Kenzie have their own NWA affiliated promotion that they are the heads of. And they are the youngest to do that, which is a huge accomplishment, while also still dominating in many ways on NWA. So you can tell they have their hats and many things, but the focus of being the best has not been compromised because of their business endeavors. So it is very interesting to see that passion and to see how that's even playing into them owning their own promotion now while still killing it as active wrestlers. And we see that Tiffany and Reka Tahaka, before this match even happened, the week prior, making it very clear that their hunger to have the tag team titles has not stopped, and they're going to make quick work of Kenzie and Kylie. So we see this build up kind of for this match as it happened August 28th. And this is a tag team contenders match between these two teams. And Tiffany and Kenzie start off this match in a very tense lockup. Early on, Reka comes into the match and is extremely intimidating and barely responds at all to Kenzie's offense, which kind of throws off Kenzie because many times she's used to getting that early offense where she kind of wears down her opponent. That was not the case in this match. So we see our younger sister Kylie is trying to make that tag to bring some balance to the match. And she does, as the Page sisters double team Reka. I do like it. You kind of see that trend that whenever Reka is in the ring, she might have the upper hand for a bit, but the team usually that she's going against, they know they have to work together to kind of break her down. And we see a take out both Tiffany and Reka with a double kick outside of the ring from Kylie, and the action comes back to the ring, and Tiffany gets back in, and we see Reka gets pretty close to possibly taking Kylie out, but the experience and the quick tactic of the Page sisters gets the win for that night, as they now qualify to have the match for the tag team titles. So we see in this match, it wasn't the longest match, but very effective in showing that even though Reka Tahaka and Tiffany Neva show a lot of promise as this newly forming tag team, you can't beat that type of experience that Kylie and Kenzie have as a tag team, with them clearly knowing each other so well as sisters, but also the separate success that they have had. Kenzie with being a world heavyweight champ, but then also a world television tag team champ, and having a stab in the past with tag team a success. Then we have Kylie Page, who has had great success in the pretty empowered tag team with Ella Envy in the past. So you really see that experience on display. And also Kenzie and Kylie being very smart on when they decide to be explosive, how they work as a team, the tactics that they have. And even though Raka Tahaka is showing a lot of promise in how explosive and effective she can be, she kind of has to learn when to not pull the trigger and kind of get the lay of the land with how she's going to effectively be one of the stronger women on the roster. And I think that she's kind of getting the hang of that, but you can't beat that type of synergy that the Page sisters has with one another. And it was very entertaining and very interesting to see them two work together in this match, and how they definitely have that tag team ambition. They want to hold every bit of gold that they can in NWA. But not only that, to also head up and own an NWA territory of their own, to really prove this real life dominance that they want in wrestling. So this was a very interesting match, and once again continues to show how many teams are really going to keep trying to put the pressure on the King Bees to show that maybe their time as champs might be ended, but we'll see about that. Let's move on to another match, actually one of the latest matches that has come from NWA as we're kind of getting to that end of summer, moving into the fall. We see this match between Max the Impaler and Natalia Markova happen under this very unique episode of NWA Power. I think it's split into two, actually. This match is for the National Wrestling Alliance territory, Back to the Territories event that that NWA had. And you really see that this crowd really takes a liking to Max and actually cheers for Max when they come out. And that was really interesting, because usually the crowd is usually quiet because they're absolutely terrified of Max, or they are booing. So there was something about Max that really got this crowd, and you see that actually amped up the champ. And we see that Natalia is not intimidated coming to this match. Actually, Markova looks quite excited to have this opportunity to challenge the champ. Before the match even starts, we see James Mitchell kind of talking to the ref, and we're trying to figure it out. And then we finally hear the announcement that Max is cashing in her Lucky 7 clause, and she does not have to defend the title in this match. Only thing that happens is that they're just genuinely having a match, but the title is not on the line, which was not what Markova agreed to with having this match. But at the same time, I think that Markova still does a good job with showing that this is not going to affect her in the match, that she's still going to go forward with really trying to push to get a win. And I really think that this was very telling, with seeing that Max the Impaler did not want this title to be on the line. I think that for the first time, you're kind of seeing that maybe Max feared that Markova was a real contender for that title, and that Markova could have possibly walked out with it. So we see these women come into the match, and Markova is still laser focused, even with that surprise or devastating news that the title wasn't going to be on the line. Markova shows that she is quick in this match, and she stays on the offense, trying to make sure that she's not giving Max a chance to breathe, which was very smart. Max does start to lay into Natalia, and the fans begin to cheer for Markova, completely doing a switch up from when they initially were excited to see Max in it. And I think that the only reason why that happened is because of how Markova can completely win you over with how freaking tough she is. And she kept making a comeback every step of this match. And it was really cool to see, as someone that, you know, really believes that Markova is long overdue for a title reign, whether it be the World's Women's title or the television title. She definitely deserves that because of how good she is. So Markova gets the victory by countout. And you can definitely see that Markova would have won that match fair and square if Max didn't deliberately stay outside of the ring for that long after getting the Natalia's beautiful destruction finisher. So I love the storytelling that we have here, where you're finally starting to see kind of like the cracks and this, and we thought like indestructible Max the Impaler, that Natalia Markova is someone that maybe Max is a bit fearful of, that can actually really hang in the ring and last clearly more than 6 minutes in the ring with the champ, and actually bring some real competition to Max. So I'm hoping that this is not just a one-off, but that NWA Power is really going to play on the fact that Natalia was that close to winning. And technically, yes, she did win by countout, but that maybe we might have some input from Billy Corgan that Max has to defend the title against Markova, because that would really be interesting to see if they kind of like build up to Markova being not necessarily the underdog, but someone that has really been chasing for gold for a while, and to really build up a good feud and then that lead off into a win. I would personally love to see that. I think that they're building up to a story, so I hope that I'm right, because Natalia deserves to really have a good feud. Maybe last like 2 months or something, where they're really building up to Markova getting that opportunity again. So we'll see. Let's see some of the comments as we're actually at the end of these matches that have been happening over the summer for the women. Bobby says, for me, I'd like to see MJ Jenkins, La Rosa Negra, and Santana Garrett challenge Kenzie Page for the NWA World's Women's Championship. That would be great, especially because I think I can't remember which deep dive episode it was, but I brought up like the new era that you see for the women's roster in NWA, and I said that I'm really hoping that MJ Jenkins can really get a push in NWA because of how talented she is. And I'm really hoping that maybe we can see it, because it seems like every time MJ comes in, she'll have like 1 or 2 matches, but then we don't really see her again. So I'm hoping for a while at least. So I'm hoping that maybe she can get like the stability with really having some great matches on the roster. I think she has really great chemistry with the women that she has competed with thus far in NWA. So fingers crossed. I would love to see La Rosa Negra get that opportunity again to challenge for the title. She definitely did before, and it was a really great build-up, but then the injury happened, so I'm hoping that that can definitely happen. I am excited to see this newly formed tag team that she does have with Ruthie J, but at the same time, no one said that, she can't have solo ambitions as well, so I'm totally here for that. Santana Garrett is someone that I've always felt should have been shot to the moon with any promotion that she's ever been in. So honestly, I have no objections if they ever announce that Santana Garrett was challenging for the title. There's so many strong candidates, honestly, for women that can challenge for it, because it's so open also in NWA, where you can have women from other places possibly coming to challenge. It really opens the doors for who actually could. But the funny part is, or the awesome part of it, is that there's so many great women that are a part of the roster already that honestly, we could really see some awesome women come to challenge. So the list could go on and on, So we'll see. But as you can see, over this summer, there were so many amazing women that were really trying to show, and I think effectively show, the type of competition that is in NWA. And I would say this because I've, kind of heard these conversations over the past few months and I can't say that's necessarily wrong about like some things that should improve in NWA, and how something should kind of go back to like the earlier days of NWA Power when it was on YouTube and it really had like this strong following. But I will say that I never felt that the women's division like took a dive. since NWA Power has started. I think that we usually see on a weekly basis that type of hunger that all the women have. And we certainly saw that over the summer. For those titles, they really make those titles just seem so coveted because of that passion that they have. We saw the Page sisters become NWA territory owners and really show how important it is to restore and preserve the legacy of NWA and NWA alliances around the country. I think this is a very pivotal time for territories to return. So I was very excited to hear about that over the summer. And I really hope that it does turn out well for these different territories to see success, because it is vital to help to build up the next generation of wrestlers. So we saw over the past week, the latest episode of NWA, that Back to the Territory special 2-part, I think, episodes that they're going to have, where you're seeing these NWA affiliates be brought in and add some really great chemistry to the people that are part of NWA Power. So it's very interesting time right now for NWA. We also saw announcements throughout the summer for the Burke Invitational Gauntlet that just recently happened in Philadelphia on August the 31st, I believe it was, to determine the #1 contender for the NWA World Women's Championship. And some amazingly talented women were announced on there. So many women, even some that possibly aren't even, I don't think, signed to NWA. There was a lot. So Kenzie definitely has a target on her back with all these women vying for that title, and it goes to show how important that title is. And there's just so many action-packed moments happening on the NWA women's roster that honestly we just have to buckle up and enjoy the ride. And I'm sure that over this fall we are going to continue to see more insanely crazy moments and just really solid matches, strong tag teams, and I could not agree more that I'm hoping, I'm assuming they're doing this, that we will see some of these matches that were coming from the Invitational Gauntlet matches. I think honestly, just like they did with the Crockett Cup, they should have broke that those gauntlet matches into a few episodes of NWA Power. I'm assuming they're probably going to do that, but we'll see. But I'm really excited to see how that's going to unfold, the type of pressure that that's going to put on Kenzie, knowing that all these women are vying for that opportunity, and obviously the attention and the prestige that comes with winning a Burke Invitational Gauntlet match. So we will see what happens over the next few weeks, but it seems like NWA has a lot of things stewing. So we'll see what comes out of that. But this was a fun recap because as I assumed, NWA was bringing it over the summer. There was so much wrestling to watch. So I'm happy that I was able to actually have a moment to really look into all of the things that were happening in NWA women's roster for this summer. I think that things are going to continue to heat up. If you guys have not been watching NWA because it hasn't been on YouTube, I really encourage you to either download or just go to the CW app. It is free, so check out these matches. You can watch it anytime and anywhere that you have some type of tablet, iPad, you name it, computer, you can watch it and check out this women's roster, because I think that it is slept on many times by a lot of wrestlers. Wrestling fans that obviously have a lot of different shows that are competing for your time, but I definitely think that you should check out this really great wrestling that is happening in NWA. So guys, that is the end of this episode of Deep Dive. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting and letting me know what you were enjoying about NWA women's roster over the summer, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. Okay, so until then, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.